evening, Free Enterprise friends, and welcome back to Highway to the Threemus Zone. My name is Pixel Tamer. I am joined by Alicel as my co-commentator. We've got Zoe Vermillion running the restream, and Mechalink is tracking. How are you doing tonight, Alicel?
I'm doing great, and how are you?
I'm doing well. Having a good day so far. Racing tonight, we have Jenicastrife and Bahamut X, both of whom have been putting in a lot of practice to get ready for this tournament.
Yep, and it looks like this is Jenica's first race, while this is the second of Bahamut X's races.
Yeah, and we are starting with a Dark Knight, which is always interesting considering the agility flags in this tournament.
Yeah, typically if you've got a Dark Knight, once he turns into a Paladin, you either want 0 or 2 are the optimal numbers.
Yeah, you can have some success with 1, but it definitely takes more work than having 0 or 2.
And we've got some interesting objectives here. We have our normal forge the Legend Sword with the Adamant, giving us an Excalibur. But we have defeat the boss of Lower Babel, conquer the Vanilla Crystal Sword Altar, and complete the Antlion Nest.
Yeah, one of these is somewhat free. Antlion Spot is normally not too hard of a boss fight. It's got low stats, it's not very fast. As soon as you've got a decent attacker, you can take that down pretty easily. But it is neat that we have objectives in all 3 major parts of the world, between Surface, Underworld, and Moon.
That is very true.
I am curious about what Bahamut X is doing for naming conventions for his party. I'm sure somebody in the audience recognizes that and will be able to fill us in.
And for those of us who aren't too familiar with Free Enterprise, do you want to give us kind of a rundown of some of the other flags we have here in this race?
Sure. So, in Highway to the Threemus Zone, we've made things a little bit more difficult for our runners. We've only got 60% of treasure chests filled with actual items, but those items are going to be a little bit more powerful on average thanks to the T. Wildish flag. As mentioned, we have Vanilla Agility turned on, which means if there is a Cecil in your party, he will determine how fast everything is. Shops are on standard, bosses are on standard. Wyvern will blow you away with Mega Nuke if he gets the first turn. And we have our 4 objectives, 3 of which must be completed for the crystal, and we are off.
And the vanilla just keeps coming. That is a vanilla cane.
And a Legend Sword, with a blue soldier guarding the Bygone spot.
Now, that legend is a kind of an interesting pickup as your first key item. Does put you that much closer to having K'Kol forge the Legend Sword with the Adamant.
Which does open up a very nice shop full of very powerful and expensive items. Where do you think our runners are going to go first? I've seen a variety of strategies employed so far.
It looks like both of our runners are heading straight to Mysidia to pick up the 2 free characters here with the Elder.
Yeah, that's a very strong play, especially since you already have a Cecil, so you don't have to worry so much about second Cecil coming in and causing problems. And we've got almost vanilla twins. We've got double White Mage children.
Yeah, that is 2 Porums. Always nice to find a White Mage early. It's always scary when you start doing some checks and don't have any way to heal yourself.
Yeah, and Porum does have some early game advantages over Rosa. She learns her spells a little faster. She gets exit without having to go through the Tower of Zot, although her hit point growth does make her a little bit less viable in the endgame. Not to say that she's bad, just that she's got some drawbacks as well.
And getting 2 Porums does open up the twin spell.
That's right. Twin magic can be used with any combination of Mystidian children, not specifically a Palom and a Porum.
And I believe that is our 4th vanilla with a vanilla Octomammoth.
That's right. Get your Is This Even Randomized memes out in chat. I think I've already seen a couple of them.
And we find another Kain here in the Watery Pass, while Bahamut X is doing the quick check of the Damsian treasury.
I'm curious if Jenica will go and fly into the back entrance of this area to get those additional treasure chests real quick. It's something I've seen a lot of people do, especially if they don't have easy access to exit at this point in the game. And there is second Cecil. So we have the option now of doing some agility manipulation by keeping one of them down at level 1 the rest of the game. And there's a lightsaber in the armory in Damsian.
As well as one of my favorite spears for Kain, the Drain Spear.
Yeah, I'm aware that there are some strategies where you can Berserk Kain with the Drain Spear and then just sort of take a nap while Zeromus falls over, but I haven't actually tried it myself.
It actually only works with the Drain Sword. The Drain Spear does not have high enough accuracy and just tanks your stats too much. But it's one of those items that you can sometimes, or used to be, you could sometimes get as a boss reward, which is rude.
I have occasionally had like wizard shirts show up as a boss reward, and that always tilts me a little bit.
But we saw Jenica went ahead and got rid of one of her Porums for a Dark Knight Cecil, where Bahamut has not seen that second Kain, so has 2 Dark Knights, 2 Porums, and a Kain.
Which is not the worst early game party. You've got the potential for 2 Paladins. Dark Knight Cecil, not great, but can at least take a hit or 2. And very soon we're going to find out who our first boss of the seed is. Or rather, I should say our first required boss. We've already seen the vanilla Octomam.
And it is a Lunar Sparkle.
And we have the Lunar Dragons here. See some dark waves coming up from those Cecils and not doing a tremendous amount of damage.
This could be a little bit fun. Hopefully able to take down at least one of these dragons before the breath spell starts coming out.
Yeah, the breath spell is a fun one. I believe the trick was discovered during Zima Zone 1, where if you reflect the breath back onto them, for whatever reason they don't have the boss bit during this attack, and you can turn them into frogs, which just makes the encounter so much easier.
But Bahamut is showing off that twin spell, making much easier work of these dragons than, and doing much more work than either one of these Cecils or a Kain.
I worry about the use of melee attacks there. I thought the Lunar Dragons would just start bouncing virus around as soon as a melee attack was made, but maybe that's not the case once one of them has gone down. And Kain is the sole survivor of that battle. And along with an objective, we get a package for our treble, which is another character check.
And on Jenica's Strife's side, we see her using one of those Cure 3s she found to great effect. And we'll see if Bahamut goes ahead and takes a look at that package character.
Looks like Bahamut will be picking up that cane potentially now, actually.
And looks like he decides that a double Porum might be to his advantage for a little while.
Yeah, Twin Magic is definitely very helpful in the early game, providing some nice AoE spells. And we can always come back for that cane later. Which does remind me of one of the other flags we have set in this event, and that is the buy flag. Once you have said no to a character or dismissed them from their party, they are gone for good. You will not be able to find them in the Tower of Wishes in Mysidia like you would normally.
And on Jenica's side, we did see that breath attack come out and turned both characters still alive into little frogs.
And we've got the Baron Guards on Bahamut's screen as they invade Fabul, which means that the soldiers we saw in the beginning of the game are in fact the Kaifo Guards.
And that's two very easy bosses and fairly easy locations. Not exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah, the trick with the Baron Guards is their counterattacks, that they will mute in response to... Piggy in response to magic, and Mini in response to fight. So the only way to really fight them effectively without counterattacks is through things like jump or Yong's power punch, things like that. Of course, they are also not benefiting from the boss bits. You could also just stop them, toad them, whatever.
Well, and like most bosses, they also do not counter twin magic.
And looks like Jenica is having some struggles over here with the Lunar Dragons, unfortunately. Taking a second wipe.
And things also not going well for Bahamut X, and there is the reset.
And looks like Jenica has decided to come back later for these Lunar Dragons and retreat for the moment, try to find something that she can more easily handle.
Totally understandable. A few additional levels or getting that Cecil to a Paladin and equipping that light sword will make that fight much easier.
And we just saw some spicy equipment over in the item shop in Fabul with the Thor Rages, the Silk Webs, Odin, Life Potions. That is a valuable shop.
Always great to pick up a couple of Silk Webs. For those who may not be familiar with some of the Japanese items in FF4, do you want to explain what a Silk Web does?
Sure, so a Silk Web effectively casts the slow spell on all enemies twice. As far as I'm aware, nothing in the game is immune to slow, even bosses, so this just makes fights a lot more manageable by slowing down the boss, giving you more turns, giving you more time to think, and just kind of smooths things out.
And Jenica showing us our third cane in the seed. And our tracker, Mechalink, pointing out that there was an Ashura summon in Silvera. If we do find Iridia, that can also be a very nice pickup.
And it looks like Bahamut is going to go up Ordeals. I hope that there's a decent offensive character in there, because that's what these players need in order to really start making progress here. Oh, there's a ninja hat. That's a pretty decent piece of gear. It gives some bonuses to all of your physical stats, as well as having decent physical protection on it. And we find a Tella on our Mount Ordeals. What makes Tella so great in this flag set?
Well, once Ordeals is complete, Tella gets his full spell list, which opens up the weak spell. And like in the vanilla speedrun, once you have the darkness crystal, you can head up to the giant and do what we call a D-machine grind.
That's right. Through some encounter manipulation strategies, we are able to force a certain encounter to appear, wherein the alert enemy will continuously spawn D-machines as long as you keep hitting it without defeating it. And those are worth a lot of XP. As long as you don't trigger their counterattack, they only use percentage-based attacks, so it's pretty safe, it's a lot of XP, and it's really a good way to get ready for endgame.
And we see Dark Elf as the first fight here on Ordeals. Sure would be nice to have that weak spell for the second half of this fight.
It would. I think Tella starts with a stop spell, which is an okay alternative, considering that the second form of the Dark Elf, for whatever reason, does not have the boss flag set.
And
there's a reset.
Yep, his Tella got piggied. That board AI coming in for stopping spells.
And that cane equipped with the Drain Spear is a risky proposition. That agility penalty this early in the game is going to cause some problems with getting enough turns to deal damage.
Yeah, 2 Dark Knight Cecils are definitely kind of holding this team back a little bit, as he is not meant to really be a big damage dealer.
Yeah, he's kind of along for the ride for the most part until you turn him into a paladin, isn't he?
Very much so. But we see Jenicastrife has taken down that Mylon and friends, and looks like going to check the front of Mount Hobbs.
Yeah, given the lack of good weapons for Kane we've seen so far, I think taking the time to do this check is probably worthwhile. And we are rewarded with an Elven Bow, and that's pretty decent. It can turn Porim into an attacker.
And honestly, at this point, that might be one of the best damage dealers they have.
Yeah, nothing wrong with an Archer White Mage. We've got another reset over on Bahamut's side, withdrawing from Mount Ordeals for the time being, but perhaps having Tella with the slow spell will make it a little bit easier to handle the Baron Guards in Thulul.
And does decide to go on back up. Remembers that he has those charm arrows, and does switch out the Drain Spear for the regular spear.
Meanwhile, chat speculating on just how much of a presence elves have in the world of Final Fantasy IV. Zoe suggesting that the Lunarians are in fact elves. Does that make Cecil a half-elf along with Golbez?
I could see it. base level Porum unfortunately missing with her first shot.
Yeah, the twins both just need a little bit of XP to get rolling.
And that poor Tella getting piggied again, while Jenicastrife is going to take a whack at these guards.
Star Rage is not dealing enough damage. I think we're probably going to be leaning on Jumping Canes on Jenica's side to try and get through this encounter.
And we see another reset on Bahamut's side. This has not been a kind seed in terms of weapons and armor for our parties.
Yeah, I hope they find something soon that'll unblock them. We haven't looted Barren Town yet. We haven't checked the package. There's a bunch of shops we can look at. There's the non-gated treasure chests in Troya, so there are things we could potentially find. I think the Chocobo Forest also has some treasure chests hidden in there if you know where to look. And Bahamut buying some heal potions to perhaps try and counteract the effects of Piggy on his Tella.
And does see that there are cabins in that shop, which is always nice to know.
Yeah, cabins and tents are valuable, and if you don't find them, it's just going to be awkward when you eventually run out of your freebies. But we are finding some okay-ish gear for Kane in Barren Town, some diamond gear, and a silver sword is better than a vanilla spear at the very least, even if it's not super strong.
And we did see another one of our free bosses there in the first spot in Barren Inn.
That's right, King and Queen Eblin will bombard the party with fire spells until they eventually wake up, realize what was done to them, and then kindly get out of the way so that our heroes can continue their adventure. Question from chat, is there an item that casts Toad? I don't think so. We've got items that cast Slow, Stop, Fatal, a bunch of the attack spells, but I don't think Toad is one of them. We also have items that cast Mute and Blink. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we don't have one for Toad.
Nope, unfortunately the closest thing is a Maiden Kiss, which only cures Toad.
Bahamut checking out the free chests in Troya. That assassin knife will make quick work of the guards over in Fabul. As they do not have the boss bit flag, they are susceptible to instant death, which that assassin knife can do.
And also finding a life staff, which is, I believe, Rosa's best staff.
Yeah, I always forget which is better between life staff and sage staff, life staff and silent staff, but they're both very good. Chat confirming that life staff has the best stat boosts and is the best. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to point out that our tracker Mechalink has noticed the black belt shirts available in Silvera. That's some nice strength boosting equipment. It's pretty much the best you can get for Yang until at late game if you find a power shirt.
And And we see Bahamut going ahead and taking a cane, replacing one of his Cecils. Oh, there's a reset.
Might have just been wanting to check which of the Mylon fights that was.
And looks like he may be giving those guards another shot. And I think at this point, that assassin dagger may be better than... Oh, and a swoon.
That is what we want. And we also see the life glitch being performed here to just get that little bit of extra experience for his party. Would you like to explain to our friends here how the life glitch works?
Sure, I'd love to. So, Final Fantasy is a perfectly programmed game and has some little quirks that I'm sure were intended by the developers. One of those being enemies that are not bosses. When they die, if you have a life spell going off on them, you can actually bring them back to life. But all enemies have 0 vitality in this game, so they immediately die again.
That's right, and you get double XP for that, double gold for that. And while we were giving that explanation, Bahamut completed the Fabul defense and got an apple for his troubles. I think the experience points from the boss fight are probably the more useful reward from that.
And Judge Infinius pointing out that Jenica has bought a lot of vampires. I believe those don't work very well on the lunar dragons.
Right, they're undead type enemies, so I would expect that the vampire would heal them and hurt your party.
But with that little bit of extra influx in levels, it looks like Bahamut X is feeling a little more confident and is heading back up Mount Ordeals.
Yeah, and I think he'll have a better chance here, especially with the improved gear found for Kain. We'll let him do that extra damage and hopefully phase transition into the dragon form much faster and enable us to just stop it in its tracks and make the fight free.
And Jenica unfortunately getting that unpleasant news that those do not work on the D-Lunars.
Yeah, I imagine both of our runners are not feeling very good right now, as far as just feeling behind and like their opponent has got the edge on them right now. Chat wondering what would be the best place to use a siren on the overworld, and I believe there is a decent grind fight here on Mount Ordeals.
Yep. You can go ahead and summon 2 Lamias, which gives about 5,500 experience points.
Alright, let's see how Jenica does with these Baron guards. She has those vampires. That should be a pretty straightforward fight, I hope.
And does go ahead and throw out those vampires.
And we see on Bahamut's side Tella hitting the Dark Elf with a stick, and then a jump causing the transformation. So hopefully Bahamut will be quick on the draw and get that stop spell off to make the rest of the encounter trivial. Jenica clearing the Baron Guards thanks to those vampires gets her experience points. We'll get her apple for her trouble. I feel like the King of Fabul could probably do a little bit better.
Yeah, definitely probably wondering where all the key items are hiding.
Yeah, there's going to be one chain somewhere that just leads to everything at this rate. And Bahamut does not appear to have cast the stop spell yet, making this fight a little bit harder than it needs to be.
But that Kane with that Assassin's Dagger is doing quite a bit of work.
Yeah, I think as long as we're careful, we'll get through this fight.
And with that final jump, takes it down.
I'm sure our runners are Bahamut is about to save and not want to go through that ordeal again. I am a pun mage, Zoe. You'll have to deal with it.
And chat calling for back attack plague. That's rude.
Yeah, this party doesn't necessarily have enough damage output to consistently down a party member to do the shenanigans.
Well, and back attack plague is one of the scarier fights you can find up here.
Back attack CPU is not terrible. It's just gonna take a while to cut through all that HP.
Yeah, this is more of a slog than a struggle.
But it does mean that paladins are soon to be acquired, and Jenica grabbing her cursed ring out of that chest.
Now, why would our players want to curse themselves?
So this comes down to the arcane science of agility manipulation in Final Fantasy IV. Basically, everything in the game acts relative to the agility of your anchor character, which in these flags is Cecil if you have him. And any given actor in a combat can only be up to 5 times faster than your anchor. So by manipulating your agility values, you can effectively speed up everybody in the fight, not just bosses who sometimes have very high agility, and give yourself more turns than you might otherwise get. Against the final boss, Threemus, this is particularly relevant because there are certain breakpoints that are optimal for manipulating your agility values. For example, at level 45, Cecil has 20 agility, which is pretty good for going into Threemus, just as far as making your relative agility levels nice. And that just happens to be at level... No, I already said level 45, didn't I?
But we do see Bahamut just kind of plugging away on this fight, while unfortunately on Jenica's side, her Tella has also been piggied.
Yeah, and we see Bahamut's Porum doing okay work with that life staff. After equipping her with a bow earlier, she is constantly going to have back row status, which lets her deal damage with her staff as though she was standing in front. Like you said earlier, Final Fantasy IV is a very well-programmed game with no bugs whatsoever, so it's definitely intentional that once you have a back row bit set on the character, it never comes off.
But good guy Dark Elf, unpiggying Tella.
And the main body goes down, so all that's left is cleaning up the attacker, and then we will find our paladins.
There's something about seeing Porum doing the same amount of damage as Kain. It just warms my little heart.
Imagine if she were to cast that Berserk spell she just learned on herself instead of on one of the traditional attackers.
But Bahamut X did go back to save, just in case something extremely rude is here.
Given the way this seed has been so far, I think it's okay to be that paranoid.
And we find a Luca key.
So that means progression is most likely at the Baron Inn, unless there's a demist hiding in the vanilla location. Because I believe we already checked and saw vanilla Octomam. And we have Golbez here.
This is pretty rude, and I love it.
Am I good cop tonight?
Oh, I'm terribly evil. So yes, you are.
Alright. I guess I'm good cop then. And let's see who the Shadow Dragon decides they want to snack on. And leaves the two baby paladins alive, and hopefully you can get a Starveil off before Golbez just starts spamming his mid-tier spells.
And we see that light sword, which is going to do quite a bit of work, or quite a bit of damage.
And Golbez's spells here are a little softer than I thought, so looks like Golbez will just go down in 2 hits from that light sword.
But we see Golbez is down, we have our paladins, and that only leaves either a hidden demist at the cave, at its vanilla location, or Tower of Zot, or that third Cecil and Baron Inn.
Oh, that's right, we could have demist holding progression at the Mega Sister spot, which is super rude.
My favorite is when it holds the Earth Crystal.
Oh, that is evil. And we have a raid coming in from PK. Thanks for joining us. We are having a very rude seed tonight. We had a bunch of Cecils, a bunch of Canes, not a lot of equipment. And looks like Bahamut is probably doing the Baron Inn next.
And looked like Bahamut was just confirming that no, I didn't get access underground yet.
Probably wishing he had. And yeah, we've had second Cecil, but what about third Cecil? And yeah, chat commenting on just how poor our equipment situation is by having that second Cecil equipping the Legend Sword. More than just a key item, it is a mediocre weapon you can use as well.
But does take down King, Queen, and Eblin, and we'll see what this second spot holds.
Bonus round!
This is actually very rude. Very rude.
Yeah, this bot is fairly fast, has good attack power, and I think we're just going to have to hope that these Cecils can survive. D-Mist, of course, is weak to the darkness element, which means that it is resistant to Holy, so these Cecils are not going to be dealing as much damage as they would otherwise.
The only bright side is you get a reprieve every few seconds to heal up your party and try and get some blinks off.
That's right. After every third attack, the D-Mist will turn into Mist, becomes invulnerable to attack, but also stops attacking you briefly, giving you a chance to revive your party members, cast some cures, cast some blinks, and try to stabilize before the onslaught continues.
And Nightdew in chat pointing out that some tier 3 spells from Tella would pretty quickly take this out, but it's always good to make sure that you're going to stay alive as you do that. But at this point, we know this must hold our progression. Chat is calling for Hook, and just making this even more rude.
I hope we get a Magma Key. Just these runners have been through a lot already, and I think they would really benefit from being able to make those checks down in the Fey March and getting some free loot between there and Tamara. Plus, we'd get to see Job Dwarf.
I personally hope there's an evil wall at the Hook spot and it's required.
You are certainly evil, aren't you?
Oh, just ask me what I hope is at the Ogopogo spot that's required.
Let me guess, Fable Gauntlet.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I've played through those encounters in the vanilla FF4, and yeah, that would not be fun to be on the receiving end of. And we are through the D-Mist. We get access to third Cecil. I would be surprised if Bahamut took him. And we get a Moon Veil, so that means Rydia's mom has the progression instead of the Baron Inn.
Now, that Moon Veil could come in handy. That is not an item to sneeze at, especially early.
That's right, Moon Veils are very powerful. In addition to the standard effect of casting Reflect on you like a Starveil does, it also gives you a status called Barrier that makes you dodge all physical attacks. Which means, like, you could have a Cecil with Barrier status covering the entire party in a physical boss spot like the Pale Dim fight and just trivialize it. And Jenica has come through her CPU fight. not sure if she's saved, but she's going to get her paladin. She's going to get laughed at by Golbez, and let's look forward to seeing how that goes.
And I do believe she did save, so we'll not have to do those orbs again. But we'll see if Rydia's mom is going to give us another chain, or if she is going to give us our underground access.
Oh no, it's a hook!
I love it.
Chat wondering if Golbez and Wyvern can block underground access. Not on this flag set. We do not have the unsafe flag set, so which means Golbez, Wyvern, and I believe Valvalis are the 3 bosses that can not block access to the underground.
Hey, you know what would have been great for Mount Ordeals? That rune axe.
Yeah. Not even because of its special properties, but just because it has high attack power.
And the fact that it is the best weapon we have found so far.
And we've got second Tella behind the package. We're probably not taking him. Yes, Knight 2. Ogopogo is in fact on the at-large still. I think the only moon boss we have seen so far is the Lunar Dragons.
And Jenica is through that Golbez fight, is finally being allowed to leave Mount Ordeals, and we will likely see her head to the Baron Inn as well.
Did she clear Antland's Nest yet? I think she has not.
No, I don't believe she did. So may want to clean up that check real quick, and we'll get her package.
Chat now reminiscing about just how bad a player Tella would be in Final Fantasy XIV, apparently. So, who are you hoping for as the character here in Evelyn Cave?
Either another Cecil or another Porum.
You know, I thought you were going to say Edward.
With a spoon, Edward would actually be somewhat useful.
Yeah, but we have no idea where the spoon is at this time.
Plus, surprisingly, he'd be pretty useful with that, the elven bow and those arrows.
That's true, Edward can be a decent archer. And the shop here in Cave Evelyn, not great. We've got elixirs, which are much more affordable as of recent balance patches, but we do have coffins, which are nice. One of those lovely Japanese items that will cast Fatal on enemies and is very useful in grinding, very useful in certain free boss fights.
Yeah, it's always nice to have a few coffins on hand for if you get something free. Makes it a lot easier to set up any life glitching. And we do see a self-summon on Bahamut X's side. He did not pick up the one in antlion cave, so if he does find Iridia and decides to take her, we'll get some benefit from that.
Yeah, it would be great to see somebody who can cast offensive magic in this seed. Those Stalemen are doing a number on those low-level Cecils. And something has gone horribly wrong on Jenica's side. There's already bouncing viruses around.
I believe she thought she had enough damage with that Cecil to just one-shot, but was just a little bit short.
Well, the Tela definitely one-shot the second dragon there.
And Bahamut having some trouble with these Stalemen and ended up having to take a reset.
I don't think there's any tremendous loss of treasure there. Like, there was some decent defensive gear, but we're still running shy on weapons that we'd actually want to have.
But at least does know the location, so can skip that chest on the way down.
Exactly. I would really like it for these runners to at least find one hourglass so that they can get some eating levels up at the Mad Ogre's chest in the tower.
Even for T. Wildish, this is pretty lousy on the loot.
Yeah, we find an Ice Brand, which is better than a Legend Sword, at the very least. And we have Vanilla Edge.
I'm more excited about that Lunar Sparkle. Now, if you were Bahamut X, who would you replace with this edge?
That's a real good question. We've already gotten rid of third Cecil, so it's hard. I think taking away that Cecil is not a terrible idea, I suppose. But yeah, it's a hard decision to make. Kane's Rune Axe will be very useful when we find that Mad Ogre chest on account of its bonus damage against mages, which, for whatever reason, the Mad Ogres count as.
But it looks like Bahamut X is not looking for those Mad Ogres.
Maybe looking for intel first on who that first boss is going to be.
Very true. Maybe wondering if he's going to have to try and take some random encounters, or if it's something easily taken down. And our restreamer pointing out that Castle Eblin is still open and does have some chances for some very nice loot.
Yeah, I believe that is one of the incentivized locations on account of how dangerous it can be with those trap chests. And we have Bahamut at the King and Queen Eblin spot. As long as you can get your Starveil off, this is pretty free because he will just Mega Flare himself. Chat booing this development. I'm starting to wonder if I'm the only person who wants these runners to have a little bit of mercy tonight.
You may very well be. But looks like may not be going for Reflect. Oh, did get a Reflect there on the cane, but was not enough to kill it.
Without the party taking actions, that countdown going very fast. But we're through. It almost looked like Jenica was considering third Cecil for a moment there.
Now, if you can find the holy swords for them, the more Cecils, the better. I mean, some seeds will give you 3 Excaliburs and a crystal sword.
Last chance to guess on which moon boss this is. I've seen a lot of hype for Ogopogo, but it is Pale Dim.
All things considered, this may be the best boss that they could face at this point.
Yeah, Woobear pointing out that this is effectively a free fight thanks to that Moon Veil. The only damaging thing that Pale Dim does is a regular physical attack, which the barrier status from the Moon Veil will completely negate. Pale Dim can be a little bit annoying on account of his counterattack script. Anytime the fight command is used against him, he will counterattack with slow on a random party member.
And does seem to be having a little bit of trouble and takes the reset. And Jenica has gotten the news that she is going to have to go through the hook route to get underground.
Entirely possible that the Moon Veil has been forgotten about. There's a lot of items in this game, and inventory can definitely get cluttered. And we've got almost 120 runners in this tournament, so we've got a variety of new runners and more experienced runners, and so we're going to see a variety of strategies just on account of how well people know this game.
And on Jenicastrife's side, checking out both the armor shop and the weapon shop, which I don't believe Bahamut did. And there is some very nice gear in there. I saw sorcerer robes, rune axes.
Yeah, sorcerer robes are pretty top tier as far as mage gear.
And it looks like Bahamut is trying to get his characters up, but kind of struggling. It's like Pale Dim knows.
Seems to be getting there with the blinks, though. Might be able to survive. This spot has about 25,000 hit points, I want to say.
And Jenica dropping the cane and picking up that edge, still holding on to those two Cecils. And it looks like Jenica is taking on chests looking for mad ogres.
Bahamut taking a moment on the title screen. Sounds like there was some minor technical difficulties that are being addressed before continuing. And Jenica finds the mad ogres. Let's see how this goes.
And it looks like Jenica is using the strat that's kind of come into favor by turning the mad ogres into something else, usually mini or frog.
Yeah, and that's gonna make this much easier, much smoother. You can just throw Berserk on whoever's got that rune axe and go to town and get a pile of XP.
And looked like he was trying to get the life, or she was trying to get the life glitch off, but miscalculated and just kind of threw a potion at an already living mad ogre.
It's only like 150 gil though, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's not like when you forget that the gold dragons are immune to coffins and throw away 5,000 gil.
Sounds like that's coming from experience.
More than once.
Jeebus pointing out that indeed mad ogres can be hit with coffins. I think I saw that happen in a race recently, where the runner did not have hourglasses but did have coffins.
And it does look like Bahamut is getting a little bit better luck on getting some blink spells off.
Yeah, I saw some early use of illusions, one of those nice, lovely Japanese items that will cast the blink spell for you.
And blink in general was not a skill that I really understood in my vanilla playthrough as a child, but is very much a nice thing.
Yeah, Confession, my first JRPG was Chrono Trigger, and I didn't actually play through vanilla FF4 until like last year when I was getting into the randomizer and wanted to have some idea of the story of the game I was playing.
And Jenica picking up a power shirt from those Mad Ogres. That is a very nice piece of gear for those Cecils or that Edge.
Yeah, it's probably one of Edge's best armors until we can get to the ninja shirt.
But Bahamut is still plugging away at this fight here. Just trying to keep everybody up.
Yeah, and question from chat about the weighting of rewards of trap chests. Items are grouped into 7 tiers in this game, and trap chests usually start at tier 5 and go up from there.
And it looks like Jenicastrife is also going to try and take down this Bahamut. Did virus her own Cecil and got the HP ran out.
There is no experience gain at this particular spot, so that's not really helpful, but that Berserked Cecil took down Bahamut easily. Only 6,000 hit points at this spot.
And as chat points out, Jenica may have a bit of an easier time just because of those additional levels from the Mad Ogre chest.
Yeah, I think our runners are basically tied at this point. And Cecil is betraying Cecil as we get our agility anchor in position.
And we see Bahamut possibly kind of taking a deep breath, trying to figure out the best way to get through this. May decide to take on some random encounters here.
Yeah, keeping yourself collected is very important in this game, I think. If you get too far off center, you're just not going to have a good time. And Bahamut finds the Mad Ogres. Hopefully this will make the difference and make this fight more doable.
Yep, we'll see if he utilizes the same strat that Jenica did with the mini.
Looks like Tella is casting mini. We just have to hope he survives to cast it.
And as Jeebus points out in chat, could steal some Bacchus wines from this encounter. With the last update, the Japanese loot tables for stealing were turned on.
Do we have a feline guest commentator tonight?
Yes, she's helping, she thinks. But we see some little tiny ogres on Bahamut's side, while Jenica is just going through this pale dim like crazy.
Yep, and we see some life glitching happening while Brunak's Cane just chops up these ogres for thousands of damage.
And looks like we are going to try and get some Bacchus wines here. And chat pointing out, you can cry with Porum, and it does increase your chances of stealing.
Yeah, that's a fairly recent discovery, isn't it?
I believe so, as I think before you could get Japanese items, it really wasn't worth it.
It's especially interesting that Cry has an interaction with Sneak, considering that you never have these two characters in the party at the same time in vanilla. And Jenica is through 1 hour 9 minutes to underground access, and the game's a lot more open for her now.
Yep, GG's to her. She's our first runner underground at 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 37 seconds.
And Bahamut clears the Mad Ogres and is currently fighting the inventory boss.
And unfortunately was not able to get any Bacchus wines due to the fact that his inventory was full.
That would explain things, wouldn't it? Jenica does not peek at the boss of Lower Babel on her way down. Probably in a hurry just to get to the Falcon, launch it, and then probably run right back up the tower to get that objective. Yeah, I think both of our runners think they're behind at this point.
Very true. This has not been a kind seed at all. And head straight to Tomra and find some Bacchus wines for sale.
And stocks up on Cure 2s, which is an interesting choice.
It's always good to have a few healing items on hand for sure, as sometimes when things go pear-shaped, your Paladin Cecil may be throwing out Cure 2s.
Yep, and we see Dragoon Mail in the Tomra armor shop. That's one of our strongest items. Jenica is being mean to us. She's not going to check Drop Door for us.
I am very upset. But is completely understandable. When you're an hour and 10 minutes in and just getting to the underground, you very likely feel very behind and don't have time for the memes.
Yeah, you're probably right. Looks like we are about to do a Dwarf Castle check. We have the Warp Glitch turned on in this flag set, which means after you have defended Dwarf Castle, then before you leave the throne room, you are able to warp back into the Crystal Chamber and retrieve the item that would normally be found at the bottom of the Luca cave.
It is a nice little trick. Definitely one I wish I had known about as a kid, and is turned on for this tournament, at least for the group flags. And Jenica making great use of the boss weakness, does a blitz, but unfortunately Leviathan did not take kindly to that and quickly takes down the Cecil. Or the Edge.
Yes, but Cecil might be close behind considering how hard that Ice 2 hit.
And looks like Bahamut is kind of taking a look at what he's got, and looks like he may be ready to take another shot at the that pale dim.
Yeah, and I hope there's some success here because it can get really frustrating to be stuck on the same boss over and over again, and just feel like you're not getting anywhere. Yes, I believe Bahamut did save after making those equipment changes.
And looks like Jenica did discover she was on battle speed 4, which does slow down things considerably. Did turn it back up to 1, but we'll see if that makes this fight a little bit easier or if it's just still too fast. And chat pointing out, Jenica may be a big fan of the Battle Speed 6 shenanigans.
And what kind of shenanigans are those?
Well, it's where you do everything on Battle Speed 6. And things take a lot longer.
It's true, although sometimes it does let you get easy wins against bosses in certain unpleasant spots, like Wyvern pretty much anywhere, or I've had some success with Battle Speed 6 against the Water Hag at the Leviathan spot. And Leviathan is down. Let's see who our next party member is and who is guarding the second spot here.
And Bahamut is having a much better time with this fight now, with looks like all of his characters blinked, everybody's up, and that Cecil is putting out damage.
And we've got a Sid and a Moonsparkle. Make your guesses now. That's our second Nope Noodle.
And that is exceedingly rude for this spot. This seed just keeps on giving.
Yeah, are you okay, Zoe? Do you need to talk about anything?
Yeah, I think Zoe is now on my list of runners I don't want to roll runners I don't want to roll seeds for me.
So Jenica is falling back into the Fey March, gonna get some loot, get a key item, and probably check those bosses.
And does find a tower key. I personally love a good tower dive before you've ever left the underground. That way you have the correct airship and don't have to take the walk of shame later.
Oh yeah, it is super nice to have the Falcon parked at the base of the tower, and then have the Enterprise just fly in through a crater that doesn't exist yet to rescue you from the collapsing tower. But we've got hourglasses for sale in the Fey March. Hourglass is one of those lovely Japanese items that casts stop on all enemies. Useful for grinding, useful for certain bosses, it's just great. And we've got Asura and either Rubicant or the 4 Fiends of Elements at the Fey March bosses.
And Bahamut is through this pale dim.
Yes, at just shy of 1 hour 19 minutes, Bahamut has access to the Underworld, and both racers have a whole lot of options available to them.
And Jenica not finding a whole lot of interesting items for sale here in the weapon and armor shops.
Bahamut almost peaks the boss spot, but teases us by going 1 tile too short. And Jenica doing Panless Sylph Cave.
Well, you never want to have to double dip Sylph Cave. With this seed, I would just check your freebies.
Yeah, I would feel real bad for her if it turns out that Pan is located at either of the 2 spots in the tower.
And Bahamut heading straight to Fey March, likely going to look to check that free key item, and we'll pick up his tower key.
Yeah, both of our runners are getting funneled towards the tower, which is one of our objectives, so there's plenty of value to be had here.
And we'll see if either one of our runners decide to try and steal some sirens when they're here in the tower. And Jenica taking a safety save. Completely understandable. I've seen Wyvern here at the top of this tower more than once.
Yes, we still have a variety of rude bosses that we could run into here. And it's the Dark Imps. This is free.
Another boss that you would rather see in a harder location. And I think this is also French vanilla.
Yeah, you're right, because normally we would see these guys a few floors down. And not even bothering with the hourglasses, just throwing out coffins. Bahamut is checking the Asura spot, and it is full-on leg.
That's kind of rude there. And by kind of rude, I mean it's terrible, and I love it.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. Bahamut also going to do the no pan self cave dive before going over to tower. Very interesting.
And Jenica picking up a cool 43,000 experience from that fight.
And an elixir. That's gotta feel bad. Where are all these key items hiding, rather?
Probably behind that Rubicant at Feymarch.
Could be, but that is objective number 2, so very slight lead for Jenica.
And Bahamut heading to Tamra. We'll see if he gives us a temp drop dwarf check.
Looking promising. Hotel desk clerk in the warehouse. Might have reported to the wrong location for the day.
And, as I've said again, another pretty easy boss here. This is leaving us with some pretty nasty bosses that could be up on the moon.
Yeah, and if Tella just casts Virus on the group, this fight is basically done. Or if Edge uses Flame Magic. A question from chat about why the second Cecil is on the ground. This flag set has the vanilla agility flag turned on, which means that your Cecil is going to determine how fast everything acts in combat. If you have multiple Cecils, it goes on a priority system of slots. And the long and short of it is, if that second Cecil stays at a low level and in the higher priority slot, everything gets to be a little bit faster, both bosses and your party, and it can make certain fights easier.
And we saw a big doll there, but since it's such a low HP spot, was able to take it down before it could wreck Jenica's party.
Yes, and yeah, agility anchoring is a complicated topic. I know the practical aspect of it, but I'm sure there are people on our Discord who would be able to provide a much more detailed explanation if people are really looking for it. And yeah, another question from chat about the group stage. Yeah, we've got about 120 racers in this tournament. We're at the end of week 2 of the group stage. Everybody's playing 3 matches. Has to be done by the end of next week. So there's a lot of action going on. There's one more race tonight after this, and then we've got 3 more races on Restream tomorrow. And we will be sure to give everyone the details as we get closer to the end of this race.
And we just pull a random endgame sword for Edge out of that chest. While Bahamut is going to give us a check of the rat tail.
It looks like Jenica is looking for trap chests on her way out of the tower. And the rat tail is a lightsaber. Again, our runners are having a real hard time finding their key items.
And Jenica showing off the Cry Sneak strats. And we'll see where Bahamut X is planning to go next. And looks like he is going to try and take on the bosses at Dwarf Castle. Is going to get some noodles.
Yeah. I think somebody in chat pointed out that the dwarves felt like Italian tonight with all this noodles going on. Question from Rexroll. Yes, this is a hook seed, and it was very hard to get underground. The overworld was basically bereft of useful weapons, and we have not found a black mage yet. It has been very unkind to our runners.
And Bahamut X is also heading up the tower. Looks like he may be looking for some trap chests as well. And for those who are not so familiar with what is going on here, would you like to explain why we are stealing all of these sirens? It looks like we might be having minor technical difficulties.
Oh, I somehow accidentally muted myself. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Cool. So, sirens, they call the rarest encounter in a given spot when you use it, which can be really good for grinding. So, what I expect our runners are going to do is go to an area in the underground we affectionately call the Peninsula of Power. When you go there, use the siren, you summon a yellow dragon egg. It does nothing until you hit it, and then it hatches into a dragon. But if you one-shot it, it's just a bunch of free experience. And you can do that with coffins, you can do that with sufficiently powerful physical attacks, and it's just one of the easy ways to get some experience from this game. Make your party just tough enough to get through those harder encounters.
And only gets a lip bolt from that chest. Very disappointing.
Bahamut possibly going to go save before continuing to go up the tower, or just going to leave the tower entirely and go straight for that egg grind we just talked about.
And I didn't see how many he was able to get.
Looks like he went for 5. Not sure what his strategy for defeating the eggs is. I don't think we have enough coffins to do it, but we'll see what happens. Jenica exiting the tower, and we'll soon find out what the key item for the cannon room is.
It looks like we are going to go ahead and jump with Kane.
We've got another ninja sword from the tower key. So progression is either behind Dwarf Castle or those nasty bosses in the Land of Summoned Monsters.
I mean, it's nice to have an edge and some swords, but unfortunately not his ultimate weapon, as these do reduce his agility.
Yeah, they have good attack power, they strength, but like you said, they reduce his agility, and Edge is very good at hitting things very hard, very fast.
but Jenica, feeling a little more emboldened, is going to give these noodles another try.
And Bahamut re-entering the tower after doing that short egg grind, so that will probably make things just that little bit easier, although we know that both of these fights are pretty straightforward. And chat discussing the merits of various throwables to just figure out what Edge's best weapon is.
Well, it's probably the spoon. And then just take Cecil's Excalibur from him and dart it at the enemy.
Yep, I beat my vanilla playthrough by dooming Excaliburs and then just throwing them nonstop with Edge.
Nah, I'd just take the only one you have and throw it. Just assert dominance over the seed. But does get that Leviathan down and is about to take on this Ogopogo.
And is in better spots for health with that Edge nearly topped off, but this is still going to be a rough fight considering how fast this spot is.
And it looks like Bahamut is going to go for some swoon shenanigans.
Yes, and Jenica is through the Ogopogo by, looks like, throwing in the Drain Spear for enough damage to punch through.
Now, hopefully she remembers her warp glitch. And is bringing up the Tella, so looks like she does remember.
More Iridia stuff.
Where's key items game?
Key items are on the moon, I guess.
And that is go mode.
And Jenica's got to be feeling relieved about getting that Darkness Crystal and being able to go. She can D-Machine grind if she wants to try out the new manipulations. She can just go up to the moon, get the character, start clearing moon bosses. Most of the world is now open to her.
Okay, chat, what's the worst thing that could be in that spot? So we've got some nice little options. I do like the thought of the alt gauntlet there.
Yeah, that spot would be mean, but not too mean. Dark Knight might be acceptable there.
But looks like we are going to be kind of cooking up some eggs here. But Bahamut has taken down that the Dark Elves. Looks like it's going to safety save, and will then take down the Calcabrana dolls and get the news that neither was required. And our restreamer reminding me that, yes, we did have to do the Dark Imps. So, only half not required.
So while we're grinding and retreading some ground, let's talk about tomorrow's races. All in Eastern Time, we start at noon with Antidale versus Acre over on the main Free Enterprise channel. Then at 4 o'clock, we've got Baka Shinobi versus Commander Leonhardt over on RPG Limit Break. And then back on Free Enterprise again at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, we've got Gaming with the Wraith versus Neon Grey, where you'll have the same dynamics on commentary as I cheer for my fellow Ramu group members, and Alicel was just them horrible doom.
Yes. Very much yes.
And we've also got one more race tonight that is already in progress over at Free Enterprise, which we'll probably send everyone over to once this one has concluded.
Unless it's still super rude. But while we're here and kind of retreading ground, I also want to send a huge thank you to Randomania for letting us stream over here. Randomania is one of our partners, and they are actually the ones who have helped make up these beautiful layouts that you see. And of course, the folks working the behind the scenes. We have Mechalink doing our tracking tonight and doing a fantabulous job. And Zoe taking care of all the sound, video, doing all that hard stuff.
Yeah, they're the real heroes while we get to banter back and forth and argue about how nice the seed should be to our runners.
It looks like Bahamut is going to be taking on these noodles, and we'll get his darkness crystal.
Sirens are not guaranteed in a shop. As standard, there's something like 80 to 90% likely to appear, but they're not guaranteed. Similarly with some of the other powerful items like Bacchus, Silk Webs, etc.
I believe the only items that are actually guaranteed in shops are Star Veils, Life Potions, and Thor Rages.
I think you're guaranteed tents, maybe cabins. And if the seed does not have a full-fledged white mage, you're guaranteed to find Cure 3s on the overworld.
And is it really 90% that you're supposed to find sirens? Because I'm unlucky. But we see the Berserk come out. And this Nope Noodle is down. Or this... Not Nope Noodle. Nope Noodle's next. What do we call this one?
I'm not sure. Oh, Danger Noodle is what Zoe's telling us.
Yes, the Danger Noodle.
Rude Rigatoni. I kind of like that one, but it's not quite as easy on the tongue. And it looks like Jenica has gotten happy with her levels for now. Probably going to go raise the Lunar Whale.
And Bahamut X making very short work of Ogopogo.
So many pasta puns, and we're starting to move over into Asian cuisine with the soba snake. Have you had dinner yet? I haven't had dinner yet, and now I'm kind of hungry.
Yeah, I have not either, and the fettuccine alfredo is probably my favorite. But we do see the Lunar Whale being raised on Jenica's side.
Yeah, Bahamut warping over into the crystal room to pick up that Leviathan summon. And, you know, it's money at the very least. So, given the party you have, is there a character on the moon you're hoping to see?
Another Cecil for Bahamut, or if I were Jenica, probably happy with the team she has now, unless she gets a base level Rydia and decides to replace that Cecil. Wait, she has 2. Never mind. I don't see her taking anyone else. Honestly.
Yeah, the forum is leveled enough that maybe you don't want to restart with a Rosa.
But best case scenario would probably be a Cecil for both of them. Just if you want to replace your slightly fast Cecil with a much slower Cecil.
And Jenica's levels are looking pretty good, so she might just keep what she has. It's a Yang. We're probably not taking him.
No, Yang is what we like to call a punch mage, which means he gets more punchy as he gains more levels. So you would have to level him up to 40s or 50s for him to kind of be useful.
Yes, and as chat points out, he casts Fist. And we have confirmed that he's a mage because his bear ability can be reflected. In case you have a boss that needs more physical defense and you want to give it that 25% bonus.
Today I learned.
Yeah, it's an interaction that doesn't come often, but this game is full of mysteries.
but we see Jenica heading straight down to the Wyvern area. And Bahamut is close behind. I think he had a couple of sirens left, maybe looking to do some gold dragons up here.
Very possible. Jenica probably has a small lead on already having done her grind.
But we'll see what rudeness awaits our runners here.
Looks like Jenica is preparing for the possibility of plague by moving the kamikaze. And we've got Evil Wall.
I love it.
The spot doesn't have a ton of hit points, so berserking your physical attackers will probably get you through. Evil Wall doing us a favor and taking out the Anchor Cecil, so we don't have to worry about that. Cecil doing work keeping that poor little Porum alive. And we'll be doing the same thing for Edge.
Yes, Cecil cover strats are very, very broken.
Unfortunately, we've got a Berserk queued up, though, so that's gonna stop happening. Cecil needs to be sensible in order to use cover. Not that it matters since he's just fallen over. Venerable chiming in from his throne on high, enjoying the suffering of our runners tonight. Our affable Gauntlet champion got a bye through the group stage, so he has been just hanging out, practicing for the table stage, I assume, doing some restream work, and just being a cool dude.
And I believe Bahamut is looking for something in particular. Maybe looking for... possibly hoping that there's more sirens available?
Maybe. Was that a Bedward we saw?
Nope, that was a Vanilla Rosa.
Edge goes down hard. And I just noticed that Jenica's Edge is named Eddie. That's not confusing at all.
Well, I believe Edge's true name is Edward. Because that's not confusing at all.
Well, today I learned.
And it looks like we are trying to steal a few more sirens. That wall is getting awful close.
It is. So he asks a relevant question. You're 2 hours in, you haven't seen Dot done yet. How panicked are you?
Very panicked. I know some runners prefer to not even have their Discord up, to kind of not try to have the meta.
Yeah, especially in 1v1 races, that's just extra stress. And there's another reset, unfortunate.
Yeah, this is a pretty rude boss at a pretty rude spot.
Now, it looks like we're dropping down to battle speed 6, hopefully just gonna make things that just more manageable. And she has not used her Moonveil yet, has she?
She has not, but could still be affected by the crush.
Yeah, but if you've got Attacker Cecil covering people, it's at least less time you have to spend reviving and blinking. More time you could spend for damage.
But it looks like Bahamut is planning to head back up to the moon, maybe taking a look at those gold dragons.
No ribbons have been found yet.
Does find that moon veil.
At the very least, this does mean that one of her blink casters will be up no matter what.
Yep, you don't have to worry about her. Although I'm not sure, will Cecil attempt to cover her as long as he's not berserked?
Not sure, but it doesn't matter. She's through. She should get her crystal in a moment.
GG's, and that puts her in complete go mode, and we see a twin harp. Neat.
So, does she do any more grinding, or does she just go straight for Zeromus at this point? I'm leaning towards the latter.
Yep, I'm not sure if she had any of her sirens left, or if she saved some and would be able to do a grind up here.
Yeah, and she's still on battle speed 6, I think, so hopefully she'll remember to turn that back up.
Well, I guess being on battle speed 6 is better than being on battle speed 1, maybe?
It depends. Like many things in this game, it depends. Inventory boss is proving to be slightly challenging as she gets ready and remembers to turn her battle speed back up. Good.
Does turn it to Battle Speed 1. I've done that. It's scary.
Yeah, if you don't have your agility perfect, it can definitely be a hard one. So, I think it's time we ask a certain question, don't you?
What question would that be? What are all these flags I see?
Well, one of the super cool features about this randomizer, we can't change Threemus' battle script, but we can change what he looks like. So, we have 450 plus sprites, largely contributed by our art lead Skelekitty, and Threemus can show up as any of them. And so we ask, whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
And we see Threemus give his little speech. Our characters decide to face him, and we'll enter the final fight.
Yeah, the thing I'm worried about with this fight is just Porum's hit point total. Jenica's gonna have to be pretty good about nerfing those big bangs in order to make sure that her white mage survives.
Yeah, not a whole lot of hit points on any of her characters, unfortunately. Only that Cecil can take a fully unnerfed Big Bang.
Honk? We have a certain terrible goose.
Honk.
And Porum running into the goose's mouth as she casts the silk web and gets punished with a nuke. And falls right over.
Oh my.
Bit of advice for everybody, do not walk into the mouth of an angry goose.
Honk.
Hopefully Porum gets some hit points back before the first Big Bang goes off. Because no matter how well you nerf, you're not going to survive on 100 hit points. All the honks in chat. Who's going to win, Goosemas or Jenica?
Well, that first Big Bang did take out the Tella, but everybody else is still standing.
Yeah, that Edge, that Cecil, both are hitting pretty hard, so I think as long as we can keep Porum alive, then we're in decent shape.
Unfortunately, I don't know that we found a whole lot of good gear for that Porum.
There were some sorcerer robes in one of the Evelyn cave shops, I think he said.
But at the time, she did not have any money.
That's true. Thankfully, mages need gear a little bit less than everyone else, but some sorcerer robes would be really great for making sure that Porum survives.
And Bahamut is about to get the good news about the wall hanging out here.
I pictured Professor Farnsworth doing air quotes as he said good news. Is Zoe doing shenanigans in chat while I have, or in the game stream while I have that turned down or something?
I don't know, because I also have it turned down.
It would be hilarious if, in fact, we did have Goose Game sound effects being injected. But this does not look good for Jenica right now, with her form down. But Black Hole coming out means those Berserks are going to be dispelled and have a chance to heal up. Maybe we don't need it because rocks are falling.
It is now up to Cecil.
This is going to be down to the wire. I think this has to miss or it's GG. Oh no! That's gotta be heartbreaking for Jenica.
Yeah, that was a big bang into a Meteo phase, it looked like.
Scala, is Goosemas new? I'm pretty sure I haven't seen that one before. Oh, I love it.
Well, everyone was screaming for Goosemas, so Scala delivers.
And yeah, Bahamut just defeated his evil wall and will be in go mode. So it's up to whoever can tame the angry goose.
And Jenica heading into her second attempt. Hopefully, those counter nukes go on some less important characters.
Yeah, like Tella or Anchor Cecil. Bahamut's levels are a little bit lower than Jenica, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a little bit more grinding. He's got a decent stack of Sirens, so could take on some more Gold Dragons.
He did cabin up here, so he may be looking to do some grind.
And we're at 9 key items, so looks like we're gonna go take a shot at the vanilla ribbon spot. Hi, Antlion.
That is the opposite of free.
Yeah, that is not the path we're gonna take to 10 key items. I don't know why, but Form running into Goosemas' mouth whenever she does anything is just hilarious.
Yeah, the big sprites that the characters run into is always fun.
I wonder if the lower color density on these sprites makes it easier to have large ones.
But everyone's surviving that big bang, even Tella. And Bahamut killing some more of these gold dragons.
Yeah, that Cecil is a perfect level for anchoring, so might be content with just that. Like we talked about earlier, level 45 is when Cecil hits 28 agility, which is one of those magic breakpoints where Zeromus is a little bit less mean.
It looks like we are going to try and take down this antlion. Oh my gosh, it does honk.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch the VOD for this one. But Jenica is in danger again with that forum down. No, I'm 99% certain that the honking is an after effect added by Zoe, who is having far too much fun.
Oh dear.
Oh, rocks are falling. But the timing was just not right. This might be a case where you turn your battle speed down a little bit, just so that you can get that additional interaction in case you need to take an action quickly.
Yep. This is one of those cases where, especially with vanilla agility, you start wanting to make some changes to your battle speed.
Yeah, I mean, she's also basically going with a 3.5 character party. I'm counting Tella as the half because he provides a little bit of utility, but not a lot, and he's gonna fall over even to a nerfed Big Bang. But definitely kudos to both of our runners for their resilience and persistence in not giving up. The antlion fight continuing over on Bahamut's side of the board. Making good use of jump to try and reduce the number of counterattacks while still dishing out some damage. Antlion counters any use of the fight command with that needle attack that can deal a pile of damage. Otherwise only uses physical attacks, and so the blinks we see coming out are very effective at mitigating a lot of it.
And Edge even getting in on those blinks, blinking himself.
Yeah, I haven't seen that be used all that often, but it seems useful here. But while we take on Goosemas for the third and hopefully final time, let's go through tomorrow's races again. Again, all Eastern time zone. Starting at noon on the Free Enterprise channel, we've got Antidale versus Acre. And then at 4 p.m. over on RPG Limit Break, we've got Baka Shinobi versus Commander Leonhardt. And then at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, back on the main Free Enterprise channel, we've got Gaming with a Wraith versus Neon Grey. Down goes the Antlion. This will mess with Cecil's agility a little bit. Probably push him up to 29 or 30 on account of the level ups, but we get an Artemis Bow and a Baka Swine, so that... The moon has not been kind.
Yep, not what he was looking for, I'm sure.
Ninja Debugger pointing out that an apple would be useful right now. I'm pretty sure we got at least one as a boss reward somewhere, didn't we?
We did, but I think she may have already used it. This is also the opposite of free.
So do we try to nerf the second Big Bang, or do we try to just survive it?
Nerfing is tricky, for sure. Especially when your Cecil's kind of at a funky agility point.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, Costella's standing there. What's he gonna do?
And it looks like Bahamut X wants to get a little bit more levels.
Yep, and here comes that Big Bang. And we're down to the two high-level fighters again. Do we get the black hole, or do we go straight to Meteo?
And
Meteo misses!
let's see if she's able to...
Oh no. So, 2 hours, 17 and a half minutes. Nobody has done. You've just wiped his aromas for the third time. How do you feel?
I'd be a little angry.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair assessment.
And there's always the nerfs of being restreamed. Those are very valid.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many races Jenica has been on Restream for, but it can definitely be nerve-wracking the first few times.
And our restreamer pointing out that this is her first restream, so absolutely nerves can get in the way of everything. And you just kind of start panicking. but looks like she may be trying to get a few more levels. And we'll hopefully be able to take down this Goosemus. Or Honkmas. Is it Honkmas?
It is Goosemus, but the chat has been honking like crazy. And Zoe has apparently as well.
And we see Bahamut heading towards the Zoromus fight.
I can't think of a better sprite to summarize how brutal this seat has been on our runners other than Goosemus.
Yeah, this has been just a slog of a seed.
It's a shame that Bahamut doesn't have access to a Dwarf Axe or something, just to lower the agility on his Cecil, try and get closer to that magic 28, make the fight just that much easier. Yeah, I might be overestimating the agility growth. Yeah, 29 and 30 agility would be perfectly accomplishable.
And Ninja Debugger asking, Bahamut did find 20 Cure 3s, so does have that option if things go pear-shaped.
And behind Mom Bomb, we find the Pan. I would be very surprised if our runners went back to Earth at this point.
And unfortunately, Jenica does not have the rat tail, so only 9 key items.
And now the Zoromus will begin to honk at Bahamut. Counter going right to Forum. Board AI knows who to target.
And that shake came out awful quick.
Big Bang successfully nerfed, but he's got some work to do to recover and get ready for the next one.
And picks his Porum back up. We'll see if he's able to get that life 4 or that cure 4 off in time.
Looks like Kane is currently playing Chemist as opposed to taking some swings with that Rune Axe. And Jenica appears to be searching for random encounters.
Hey, did you know this guy is weak to lightning?
He's very insistent on that fact, but I've never actually tried hitting him with lightning. I usually just hit him with a sword or two.
You ought to give it a try sometime.
What sort of cheeky shenanigans does he get up to?
Well, he's weak to lightning.
So he's telling you, but his name is Trigger.
Ooh. Big Bang, but does keep his Porum alive.
That could be the difference. That could be the GG.
And Jenica does find a King Ryu here. We'll get a fair bit of experience.
I'm not sure of the value of trading Kane's turn to get Tella up, but it seems to be working, so who am I to criticize?
Oof. That was a very large Big Bang.
It was, and now would be a terrible time for rocks to start falling.
A virus might do the trick.
Yeah, we've got to throw a Cure 3 on that edge right away, but I don't know if that Zessel's berserked or not.
I believe both of them are berserked.
Edge is probably going to get in like 3 or 4 more attacks, and then he'll either fall over to the virus or the Big Bang.
And does take a reset, but maybe if he doesn't have to pick up his Porum after the first action, might have a little better luck this second time.
I hope so. Chat pointing out that the Goose is up 4-0 right now. And Goose has qualified for table. They are technically correct. So the question is, how do we get Goosemas as a runner in the game?
I think our champion and venerable should have to take on this Goose.
I should ask the admins if I change my handle to Goosemas, if I can skip the hook route and immediately qualify. I doubt it would work, but it's worth a try maybe.
Honk.
Alright, looks like Jenica has gained a few levels and is ready to try Goosemas again. And I really hope she can succeed this time. Jamie, I don't think the Goose registered, so the Goose might not be able to win this tournament, but could probably win the next one.
And counter nuke goes out on that edge, which, while not who you wanted to see, is still better than your Porum.
Alright, that Cure 3 from Tella heals edge up most of the way, should be able to survive the next big honk.
And everyone survives.
Can the stream handle this much goose at one time?
That is a lot of goose.
More importantly, can whatever soundboard Zoe's using emit enough honks fast enough?
Let's find out. For science.
Science sounds like a good reason.
And Jeffy in chat asking how much HP Z has. It's complicated. With the way that these runners are taking down Threemus, he has about 105 maybe thousand experience or HP.
Yeah, and the reason why we say it depends is due to the architecture of the Super Nintendo. The short version is, as a 16-bit system, the largest number it can store at any one time is roughly 65,000. So in order to have enemies with more than that amount of hit points, the game does some sneaky things where it will have an HP refill as a counterattack, so that once the boss reaches a certain HP threshold for the first time, it will heal. And that's done with Threemus, that's some of the few other high hit point spots, and because that's a counterattack, there are some cheese shenanigans available if you had a different party composition. Emily, would you like to talk a little bit about reflex strats?
Reflex strats usually come in when you have not physical attackers, and if you reflect damage of spells onto the boss, that refill is never triggered, and you only have to chew through the 65,565.
That's right, because reflected spells do not trigger counterattacks. It works against a variety of bosses, including the 4 themes of elements. It is very possible to do cheese strats that way, where you can just keep them locked in Mylon form and blow them away with holy spells.
Oh no. And unfortunately, that high roll big bang straight into that virus just kind of took out Bahamut's team, but it looks like he may be heading back to do a little more grinding.
Yeah, power overwhelming is definitely a strategy. And sometimes it's the right thing to do.
And on jenicastrife's side, as Woobear points out, we do have a Berserk on the Anchor Cecil, which clogs up the queue.
Yeah, like even if that Cecil's only dealing 100 damage a pop, it's still just interfering with Threemus.
When in doubt, Berserk all the things. And we see another shake from Threemus.
Hit points are generally pretty good, so if there's a low roll, that form can probably survive.
Does queue up that Cure 4 a little bit early, but doesn't hurt to cure up the sap damage.
Yeah, I mean, if she falls over from the Big Bang, it doesn't matter how much ammo she has left.
But
wow,
does
she survived.
survived.
Maybe that Cure 4 made the difference. This could be the GG moment.
Yep. I suspect we are going to see rocks very soon, and we'll see a flash boom here in a second. And we're getting our characters, and there's rocks.
Yeah, I think she's got it. That edge is just going crazy, and there's the flash. Everybody get your GGs out.
GG's. And that is a
5, runners 1.
And that is an official time of 2 hours, 35 minutes, and 11 seconds. And we'll see if we can't get Jenica in for an interview.
I'm gonna get interviewed.
GG's, Jen.
Yeah, we are joined by jenicastrife, tonight's winner. GG's and Honk.
Honk, indeed. That was pretty wild.
That was pretty wild. That was a very difficult seed from what we could tell. You and Bahamut kept going back and forth on it, but you persevered, and that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I was basically sweating since Antlion, so I I think I'm gonna eat some ice cream.
I think you deserve it.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. It was super fun.
And tell us, what did you think of that early game?
Well, it's just 2 Dark Knight Cecils with their little toothpicks, and I don't know, it was definitely frustrating, but both of us powered through it.
Yeah, for sure. We've got Bahamut making another attempt on Zeromas right now. Yeah, how did you feel about Evil Wall? That seemed like a really rude spot for him.
Yeah, honestly, by that point, I had kind of hit the rudeness stride of the seed, so Evil Wall, though rude, I just slowed that battle speed down and kind of put my head down and did it.
Chat's wondering, how did it feel doing your first restream? I know it can be a bit nerve-wracking the first few times.
Yeah, honestly, I was really nervous. The whole overworld part being extremely difficult didn't help that. But by the time I got through Hook, I was like, all right, let's just do this.
I'm gonna go real quick. This is your friendly neighborhood honking restreamer, and I wanted to say I'm sorry.
Oh no, it was a learning experience. I appreciated it.
I may have cheered on the rudeness.
That's okay. I felt the rudeness, and I became, one with it, so...
But Pixel Tamer, did you have any additional questions before Jenica goes and gets some...
Yeah, the ice cream is well deserved. I am curious why you went into Self Cave before you did the tower, given that you had the key.
I think I was kind of on my my routing autopilot with, I was just kind of in comfort zone mode, and I decided before I started that if I did something kind of goofy, I wasn't gonna pull back. I was just gonna commit to it. And I figured I could always do Sheila 1 and maybe she'd give me something good. But yeah, that was definitely a little bit of a blunder.
But Bahamut did the same thing, so overall it kind of worked out.
Oh, that's interesting.
Last question before we let you go. Chat has to know, what kind of ice cream are you having?
Well, it's gotta be vanilla, right?
It's true, there was so much vanilla in this run.
Uh-huh.
Alright, congrats again
Thanks.
on your win, and
Thank you.
good luck going forward with the league.
Yeah, thanks for all your hard work, everyone.
Thank you so much and have a wonderful night.
All right, you too. Goodbye.
And that was our winner of tonight's race, jenicastrife. That is her first win and her first match, so off to a great start.
Yeah, and unfortunately this does mean that Bahamut X will be falling into the hook route. There are some good players in there. There's going to be some interesting competition going on there. Not everybody
absolutely.
is going to make it into the Magma Key, and there's going to be some fierce competition for those 2 spots in the hook route.
Yep, and those matches will be starting up in the next week and a half. Both hook and magma routes.
Yeah, let's do a quick overview of the tournament structure for anybody who might not know. We're ultimately filtering down to a round of 32, which we call the table stage. It's got some harder flags, and there's 3 ways you can qualify for it, 4 if you're Invenerable. First way is to win the Fabul Gauntlet and get a bye, which is what Invenerable did. Next is to go 3-0 in the group stages that we're restreaming right now, and a few of our runners have done that already, and that will be the most straightforward way to get into the table. Next up, if you don't go 3-0, there's 2 groups you can fall into after that. If you have 2 wins, you go into what we're calling the Magma group, and if you have fewer than 2 wins, you go into the Hook route. There's going to be a few races on within each route, and ultimately it will lead into some group races if you've got 2 or more wins in your respective group. 2 winners from the Hook group will be able to advance into the table stage, and then at least 2, probably more, runners out of the Magma group will get to advance as well. We pull more out of the Magma group rather than the Hook group because, Magma Key is the easy way to go in. So it also contains the runners that have gone 2 and 1 in the table stage.
But back to the race, we see Bahamut X had a little bit of a high roll, but seems to be recovering nicely.
Yeah, we've got our whole party, we've got them at full hit points. I say right before a big honk. But everyone survives, and that's the important thing.
And we get another Cure 4 off. That was single cast. So, we'll see. Looks like Arcane is playing Chemist again. And a Black Hole gives us a little bit more of a reprieve.
Yeah, and we're almost 3 hours into this race. I'm sure our runners are getting tired, and it's going to be easy to make little mistakes like single targeting that Cure 4 instead of group casting it.
And right now, everything looks to be in a pretty good place. Barring another another large Big Bang into a Meteo, we may have this.
looks like we've got one more big honk coming up before we have to worry about rocks falling. Never mind, there was some rocks.
And lots of dodges.
Get your GGs ready because I think we're good.
Yep. GG's to Bahamut with a time of 2 hours, 44 minutes, and 10 seconds. And we'll see if we can get Bahamut in for an interview.
But, man, that was a brutal seed, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was pretty disgusting.
Do we need to, like, take away Zoe's seed rolling permissions for a day or two?
Absolutely not.
Right, you're evil and you enjoy the suffering of our runners.
I won't be rolling the seed tomorrow, though, so it's fine.
And we are joined by Bahamut X. GG, congrats on finishing that absolutely grueling seed.
Thank you. That was just the craziest seed, probably one of the craziest ones I've done, especially in a race. Wow. Yeah, congrats to GG's to Jenica. She pulled through, and I heard that we're chatting a little bit. Looks like we both wiped on Zroma several times there. I should have leveled a bit more before taking them on. I thought I had enough.
Yeah, the Vigilla agility definitely makes the grind a little bit more complicated. You had Cecil at 45 there, and I thought, okay, that's perfect. You're gonna either go to Zeromus like that or knock over Cecil so he doesn't get any faster, but keep going. I'm a little curious about that.
Oh, like why didn't I kill him off? Or
yeah, like, why did you keep grinding Cecil up as opposed to keeping him at that nice 28 agility?
Yeah, I probably should have killed him off. I was just, I think if that was after my first or second wipe, I'm like, I'm just going to level a little bit more. I mean, as you can see, I did the last time I went through. I was fine. I didn't think my agility was too bad, but hindsight, I probably could have killed him off to keep his agility a little bit lower. So that's just me trying to finish the seed.
Oh, totally fair. It's this was an ordeal.
Yes. But yeah, crazy seed. And that beginning, I made so many mistakes, like giving up Twin, changing one of the Porums for Tella. Tella was good, but I should have changed out one of the Cecils. Just as an example, and just running around with my head cut off for that first half an hour, trying to figure out what to do.
Yeah,
and
it was definitely a hard early part of the seed between the Lunar Dragons and Antlion and just all of the nasty things and the lack of gear.
Oh yeah, just so many melee characters, very little gear. I didn't check how many chests I opened, but I was probably a lot because I'm like, I got nothing. I got to keep checking. And also, I want to apologize. I spent all this time to look up and create really cool names for my characters, and then I accidentally put on silly. Those are supposed. If I'm not sure if people in chat try to figure it out, they were supposed to be characters from River City Girls. That's what they were supposed to be.
Yeah, chat figured it out.
Ah, okay. Oh man, yeah, it's crazy seed.
Yeah, congrats again on finishing. Welcome to the Hook Group. Maybe we'll cross paths down there.
Yeah, thanks. I got my last one tomorrow, and then prepare for the Hook Group then.
And sounds like we want to go over and raid the main Free Enterprise channel before they wrap up. So let's just do a quick rundown of tomorrow's races again. You've got Antidale versus Acre at noon on Free Enterprise, Baka Shinobi versus Commander Leonhardt at 4 on RPG Limit Break, and Gaming with a Wraith versus Neon Grey at 10 back on Free Enterprise. I'd like to thank my team tonight, Alicel co-commentating, Zoe Vermilion restreaming, Mechalink tracking, and just our awesome community in general.
And it looks like our dear Scala Kitty is having us hold on for a second. So while we're waiting, I will ask a couple of questions. how did you feel just with the one Cecil? Did you want to see, or did you want to keep him? Did you ever think about changing him out for somebody else?
Well, once I had the lightsaber, I'm gonna keep one Cecil. Since I didn't really find much good for weapons for the, because I came across so many Canes and so many other Cecils I didn't pick up. There wasn't really much good for weapons for Kane either, but I ended up with a rune axe. So that's basically why I kept Cecil, because there was nothing really better that I saw. I suppose there was the Yang. They were at the top, the beginning of the moon, but by that time I was leveled enough. I'm like, I got my pattern, I got my, my people. I'm not going to change that out again. So, lightsaber is the greatest, but there really wasn't much better for gear with this steed.
No, it was very equipment and key item poor.
Yeah, it's tough when you're sub 10 key items. I was tempted to go do the D-Machine grind because I had Tella, but with the you can't run away from battles, I had done the new map a couple times, but I wasn't enough to be confident in it. So that's why I decided to go and steal the sirens and then do the sirens up on the moon. So that's how I ended up doing my grinding.
Totally fair. But looks like we are ready to raid now. So thanks again, everyone, for watching. Thanks again to our runners for playing, and to everyone in the community for being as cool as you are.
Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks again to Bahamut for the interview. Again, give these racers a follow, and do not spoil the race on the other side. Y'all have a great night.